Hello and welcome back to the second episode of Broadcasting Kendon, your comedy and entertainment podcast hosted by me, Kendon Reed. This is the only podcast on the entire interweb that you can learn fun facts and cool things about me, which is who you want to be learning about. So, jumping right into today's topic, we are going to be talking about failure. And if you're wondering why I just called you out by name, then we need to raise your self-esteem. That's actually not cool, bro. You're a champion. I have a weird relationship with failure. I don't like it, and I know a lot of people share this, but I feel as though failure and the fear of failure is kind of keeping me from doing the things that I want to do or reaching the goals that I want to reach. And there's nothing specific in mind whenever I say that, but it's just, I think the fear of failure is slowly killing my ambition, and I think I combat that by just not caring. I am and was a very competitive person. I hate losing games, board games, card games, anything, race to the pole. Like, I can't stand it. It drives me crazy. I'm like Timothy Chalamet. I'm just yearning to be the best. I'm driven to be the best. Shout out Timothy. It always bugged me whenever I couldn't do something as a kid or even now. My parents remember a time I was probably 2 years old or something, and I was trying to dribble a basketball, which I had never done before. And they said I was like shaking, crying because I couldn't dribble it like how I wanted to. And so I was mad at myself. And unfortunately, that hatred of failure has leaked into my adult life. So I've got a few stories to tell about some failures in my life, and I'd just like to say that I'm kind of doing this as an exercise to make myself see that these aren't necessarily failures. It's just a lesson. Failures should be considered lessons to learn. And I can say that all that I want, but do I believe it? I don't know. Because, you can tell yourself whatever you want. Whether or not you believe it is kind of a different thing. We've got a couple iconic failure stories here. We're going to talk about my career as a basketball player. I grew up playing basketball. I started in probably 4th grade and played until my sophomore year. I was never a great basketball player, but I like to think I had the motivation and the drive to be one. I was on the varsity team. Not too bad. I'm pretty sure I was just called onto the varsity team because I followed instructions and listened to my coach, but I don't think it had anything to do with my skill. I think I just listened to my coach, and he knew that I would do exactly what he said. But I told my coach that I was quitting after my sophomore year, and it was bittersweet. Basketball caused me a lot of stress just because, like I said, I hate failure. Anytime I would turn the ball over, miss a shot, throw a pass out of bounds, not get a stop, I hated myself. I had a lot of self-hatred wrapped up in this failure. Like, if I failed, I was labeling myself as a failure, which I guess is, kind of a reasonable conclusion to go to, but it wasn't healthy, and it did not help me mentally, if you know what I mean. One of the stories that I'd like to get into is actually about the best game of basketball that I've ever played. This was a summer camp game before sophomore year, so I was pretty hyped up to play, and I was looking forward to it. We're playing a private school who actually went on to, I believe, either make the finals or win the state tournament of 3A that year. We were 4A, a little better, but so I don't start this game. This is varsity. This is a varsity scrimmage in the summer, and I'm just a wee sophomore. I get put in the game, and I was playing like an all-star. I mean, I was doing everything. I looked like Scotty Barnes out there. I had like 10 points, which, by the way, is a career high that I've reached, I want to say, 3 or 4 times in my entire playing career. 10 points. That's the limit of my scoring. You can get anywhere from, 0 to 10 out of me, but if you get 10, just that's peak. 5, 6 steals. I was getting boards. I was making good passes. I was playing my ass off. My teammates are hyping me up. Everyone's kind of feeling the energy. We're playing good. We're beating them. And this is a good team, keep in mind. And then things take a bit of a turn. My coach calls a timeout. Everyone huddles up. I'm playing good. I'm feeling good too. We're all huddled around coach, and he's quiet for a second. He looks around. He points at me. Is Kendon Reed an athlete? Everyone's huddled around. They're like, yeah. They're hyping me up. I'm feeling good. They're feeling good. I'm a likable guy. Everyone's like, yeah, let the white boy go. Nothing wrong with a white boy getting a little motion. You know what I mean? Yes was the wrong answer to my coach. He looks around, he genuinely looks around appalled. He's like, 5'9", Kendon Reed. Is he an athlete? No, but he's out there hustling more than any of y'all. Thank you? Thank you? I don't know. I mean, gee, what a compliment to give one of your players. That was literally the best game of my life. And I get told in that game, I am not an athlete, but I'm a hustler. So, who's really winning here? I'm just a hustler amongst athletes. It's not that big of a deal. I loved basketball, but it truly was time to hang it up after sophomore year. It hurt me a lot to not be as good as I wanted to be. That's what I told my coach. I was like, Coach, I just don't think I can get to where I want to be or where you need me to be. And he was real nice about it and everything, but it hurt me to just have to admit, yep, we're done. We failed. We're out. But I can't look at it that way. Some of the best memories of my life are playing basketball, and I still play casually. Turns out it's a lot more fun whenever you don't hate yourself while you're playing. I still get a little itchy every time I miss a shot. I'm like, oh, I smell failure on your breath, Kendon. Don't be doing that. Follow through. Hand in the cookie jar. So that was my experience with basketball. But I'd like to move on to my musical endeavors and the failures in those. It may not look like it, but when I was a young lad, I used to play the ukulele. I think I was around 10, 11, and I was too small to play the guitar, which is what I told my parents. I told my parents I'd like to learn to play the guitar, and whenever we went to this place that allows you to learn instruments with a tutor or a teacher, they were like, he's kind of small. Would he want to play the ukulele? Who am I to say no if someone's just like, hey, you're too small to play the guitar now, but get on that ukulele, boy. Which, it was then that I learned that the guitar and the ukulele are a lot different. I used to think that a ukulele was just a tiny guitar, but it's not. A guitar actually has 6 strings, while a ukulele has 4. You learn something new every day. I'd go, I believe it was weekly, to go play the ukulele, learn a few new things. I had a book. I practiced at home. I got okay. Nothing great, truly just amateur level. But everything came crashing down when the man teaching me asked me to start singing the songs that I was playing. I remember specifically I was learning how to play Let It Be by the Beatles, and he had me sing it aloud. And then he had my mom come in the room and listen to me sing. And I felt so gross and so uncomfortable that I asked to quit the next week. And listen, if he's calling my mom in the room, I'm either so bad that it's hilarious and he wants my mom to see this, or I've got some pipes on me and he's like, hey, this guy's the next Beyonce. You gave birth to Beyonce. Be proud. I don't know if that was the case, but either way, I was so terrified of singing and singing badly that I chose to hang it up and haven't touched a ukulele since. It's quite sad. My second musical failure. I joined band, 6th grade year. 6th grade band. Here I was. I took a test to see where I was musically inclined. It turns out I was pretty good at keeping a rhythm and a beat. I became a percussionist. I played the snare drum, tambourine, triangle, marimba, xylophone, anything that you can hit with a stick and it makes a noise, that's what I was playing. And I might add, I was pretty good. You don't just win best percussionist at the end of the year if you're not solid in band. Yeah, it's no big deal. I quit that night. So that's kind of tough, but the reason was I basically kind of had panic attacks at the thought of chair tests. It was a little scary to do as a 12-year-old. We had a song that we would spend, a few weeks memorizing by yourself, and you would have to play it by yourself in front of the rest of the class. It drove me insane, and I couldn't do it anymore. I was so nervous and so scared. I couldn't get past it. Again, you're looking at the 2016 Percussionist of the Year. I quit because I couldn't. The lights were too bright for me. I couldn't do it. It is a shame because I feel like the world kind of missed out on the next Elvis/Ringo Starr with my ukulele and drum experience. The last section of this episode is going to be about my failure in the first sport that I ever played, baseball. I don't know how you people feel about baseball, but for me right now, I hate it. I hate baseball so much. It's the most boring sport ever. The jerseys are cool. I'll give them that. And I would actually argue it might be one of the most diverse sports on the planet. I don't see color, but you got a lot of Asians, a lot of black people, a lot of white people, a lot of Latinos, South Americans. I mean, they're Europeans. It's everywhere. And I don't hate baseball because of the diversity. Anyways, I played on a t-ball team starting at the age of 4, and I quit baseball around the age of 12. Coincidentally, I found myself on a pretty solid team. We were a good squad. We used to run rule people in t-ball. And it's no thanks to me. Like, I'm not a baseball prodigy. We had one of the coach's sons was just a unit of atoms. We go out there, again, we're 4, 5, 6 years old. Coaches go out there, they set the tee up, put the baseball on the tee, and he would just rip that thing over the fence every time. They just line it up. I mean, it's t-ball, and he's hitting it over the fence every time. Shout out to him. I love you, Carson. Anyways, my coaches figured it'd be good for me to be out in right field, where not a lot ever happens, but if something does happen, I would be saving the team. And I knew what I was doing out in right field. If I get the ball, throw that thing to first every time. Every time. The one time I tried to throw it to second base, I remembered mid-throw that they told me only throw it to first. And so I stopped, but I was already releasing the ball, so it kind of just fell. And then the guy went to second, and the guy on second went to third. So everyone was safe after I made that fatal mistake. A failure. Nah, we can't look at it like that. I was just being stupid. I think if I keep talking about failure, I'm going to fail to wake up in the morning. So I think we're going to call the episode there. As a lasting note, I'd just like to say that I'm working on looking at failure as a lesson learned instead of a mistake, because that's not how you grow, and you won't accomplish anything like that. And success wouldn't be worth it if there was no risk of failure. If you succeeded all the time, how, what do you get out of that? I recognize that I need to be a lot better at just allowing myself to fail. And it's okay, because you can fail 1,000,000 times. You just have to succeed once. So I hope a lot of my failure stories resonate with some of you, so you can look at me and go, I mean, what a doofus and dweeb. I've got it made. I just want everyone to realize that failure is okay, and it should be embraced. And hopefully that message is getting into my head, because I need to learn it too. A lot of the things that I say out loud, I can say and give someone else that advice, but it's harder, I've noticed, to take it myself. Is that weird? Is something wrong with me? Let me know in the comments, or maybe next week whenever you watch our next episode. Anyways, this has been Broadcasting Kendon. I hope everyone enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys for episode 3.